Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Just Chat show. We got some things to share with you all as far as some updates as to how God has us going back to some basics now. Basically for regrouping and then also for further fine tuning and tweaking. Plus, we did stream this show on Facebook and at our personal profile, just kind of, we were kind of gauging to see. And of all the three locations, this channel, the YouTube channel, tends to get the most. So God said we want to keep this show because it originated here on the YouTube channel, Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance. So we're going to keep it here. And we'll still do the Motivational Mondays and then the Saturday Bible study. We will still do those to YouTube and the Facebook business profile. Okay, you all. So there you go. We will continue to have those. But you know how we roll. Let's let those notifications go on out. We'll give it about 5 minutes or so. We went live a few minutes early today, so to let that go. And I want to go ahead and just give you all these updates, what God's got us doing, and things like that. Because of the simple fact that, God switches it up. He switches it up every now and again. And that's why we have to learn to be flexible. He switches it up. So we have to learn how to be flexible. And that way, when God switches it up, we're ready. So he does that. So he has us doing this Let's Just Chat show. CHA's Let's Just Chat. Originated here, some time ago. And then we branched out for a little while to gauge. And then now God needs me to bring it right back here to YouTube only. This particular show stays on YouTube. As far as whether or not he'll have us branch back out later on, I don't know. We don't know that yet. All right, but he has us doing that right now. So I did post an update over there on Facebook to let everybody know on the personal page and on the business page. Okay, so I wanted to let everybody know what's going on. And then our podcast, okay, is still live only on this YouTube channel. That's right, every Tuesday around 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And now we also have a separate Truth Seeker episode that goes on our other podcast hosting site, along with the CHA's Truth Analyzer Patreon podcast. That's right. We have those available now too. So we're continuing to build, you all. Seriously. Let's get this out of the way. I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA's Let's Just Chat show, streaming on the YouTube channel Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance. That's right. And I want to welcome all of y'all. Yeah, come on in. All right, everybody, let's come on in, because we are going to discuss, that's right, how playing favorite is a sign of narcissism and some other things that we start to notice more of out here on the world stage, and how we can tell now why we have more toddlers in adult bodies. Okay, it seems like we have more. Well, they've always been there. We just didn't notice it yet. All right, so we do have a lot of them. All right, chosen ones, spiritual warriors for Christ. We learned them. It is what it is. We leave them there. All right, but that sign of narcissism, playing favorites. After all, what are we? Chosen one, we're the scapegoats, right? We're the scapegoats of the family. That's right. And those of us that had siblings, right, or a sibling, that was the golden child. So hello, fellow scapegoats. Let's rock on, all right? Yeah, so that's why we're able to see through a lot of this stuff, because we got God clear lenses on now. God put his spiritual glasses on for us. That's right. When he awakened us to and from all of that abuse, so we can see, all of the evil that's going on out there in the world. And it's something else, I have to tell you. Oh yeah, it sure is. But that playing favorite, that is a definite sign of narcissism. And we know that there are social platforms that do that. Of course. Because what does the world stage promote? Popularity. What's trending? What's new? Until the new and shiny wears off. Right? So that's how society caters to the toddler mindset. And so, of course, they're going to keep behaving like toddlers in adult bodies. They keep getting rewarded for it. And so they get special treatment because of a position, status, or title, and they let it go to their head. See, true blue chosen ones, we don't go around seeking special treatment because we know better. Yeah, we're not thinking more highly of ourselves than we ought to. Again, for those who need this reminder, how do we not allow ourselves to think more highly of ourselves than we ought to? Is by reminding ourselves that we are not the only one who are in this industry for pushing back against the abuse and the wickedness. We are not the only minister up here ministering. We know that. So by understanding that, that keeps us humble. Chosen ones wear many hats, yes. But we don't put any of them on a pedestal, and we don't develop any kind of thinking pattern that we're better than anybody else because we wear many hats. No, because we're not the only ones that wear many hats. There you go. It's all about reminding ourselves. There's a lot of self-reminding in the spiritual awakening. Oh yeah, absolutely. Because that's exactly how we stay humble. And we don't play favorites. Okay, let's clarify here. Do we all have a favorite color? Yes. There's nothing wrong with that. We have our likes and our dislikes. But that's different. That's not playing favorites as in putting it on a pedestal or anything. Okay? Playing favorites is a sign of narcissism when it comes to playing favorites over people. Yes, God's favor is on his chosen one. That's different. Very different. Okay, just really means that we are divinely protected by God. Glory be to God. Never forget that. And we notice this out there with that narcissistic matrix, that it plays favorites. Absolutely. And I do know that if a certain platform, doesn't perceive us as worthy, oh yeah, y'all listen, remember the law of polarity, okay? And I am not throwing any platform under the bus because I know that there are good, you've got your good and you've got your bad, right? You've got your evil and good. Right, you got both sides. So, for example, on Quora, you've got the good side. I've had several decent, good moderators who have helped keep some garbage out of our spaces. At the same time, you've got some evildoers also there who don't perceive us as worthy. Okay? So, we have to remember that. You've got both sides, two sides to every coin. And so for every social platform, you're going to have that. Remember, God's all about a cosmic balance here. It's all about us being able to discern. But there are some social platforms that do play favorites based on number of video views. Because remember something, only the evildoers are the ones who care about the number of views, likes, followers, subscribers, what have you. Only the evildoers care about that. I'm going to remind somebody here that never forget, if you come across that meme, and many of us have, that says that most people won't support unless they see it popular to do so. Well, those are not our people anyway. Those would be narcs, now wouldn't they? There you go. If they won't, if they won't support, subscribe, hit that like button, stuff like that, just because they don't see it popular to do so, they don't belong in this growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ. Okay? They don't belong in our community if that's the way they are. Because if they're viewing things that way, they're on Team Devil. Because only the devil cares about that stuff. The devil is all about popularity. Yeah, that's all it is. Okay? That's playing favorites. That's that sign of narcissism. See, we know that the enemy knows how the algorithms work, right? So I'm going to give a huge shout out to all of y'all that are giving these videos a thumbs up. Because that's going to help. That's right. That's going to help reach our fellow chosen spiritual warriors for Christ. Okay? Because they're not going to know that we're here unless the algorithm can start promoting these videos. And so we're doing a major overhaul. For whoever's not aware of that, now you are. on this YouTube channel. We're in the process of a cleanup and declutter, if you will, because we had to switch a few things around after we closed that last case study. So I just want y'all to know that I appreciate your patience and understanding with that. Project thumbnail. That's what God called it. Like, okay. And so that's part of it. And then we are executing the 5 Ps because I have stopped to question this. Why is this platform recommending my own videos to me? Okay, would that be a little bit of cognitive dissonance in action? Trying to make it appear as though it's recommending my videos? I don't know. We've got no way of knowing, right? So we got to walk the walk, right? Because it's up to us, chosen one. This is why we got the 5 Ps, because we're not going to have a choice. We have to promote. People will not know that we're here and what we offer and that we can help them get closer to God and heal from all that trauma. They're not going to know we're here unless we get this out there to them, right? There you go. And the enemy knows that. The enemy doesn't want people getting that heightened awareness that God needs us to have in his reality so that we can properly discern and spot when an entity or person or platform is playing favorites. There's a word, favoritism. There you go. Another word with ism at the end. So I am monitoring the chat on my other device also. If you leave me a question or comment, I will eventually get to it. Absolutely. After all this is, let's just chat, right? And so I wanted to bring it to everybody's attention that what we're seeing out there with toddlers in adult bodies, they will continue to act as such because society continues to play favorite and treat them as a toddler. Think about it. Society is coddling them, giving them all kinds of special treatment based on this and this and this. And so that's to butter them up and continue to trick them into acting on impulse. Because what does the fallen world have a love of? Yeah, it has a love of money. That's the root of all evil. Not the money itself, but the love of money, putting it above God. See, where we chosen when we put God first and we keep him in everything we do, and he will provide our every need. Absolutely. And I remember saying this a while ago, I'm bringing it here to let you all know that the system of narcissism on the world stage does not care what we do as long as it puts money in their pockets. But here's the thing. We know that the enemy doesn't play fair because guess what? We got pockets too. That's right. In order for us, I mean, how are we gonna, you see? So the enemy basically stepping on his own toes when he tries to interfere. That's right. He's stepping on his own toes when he tries to interfere and tries to block our blessings. But eventually, the blessings get to us anyway. Well, that's why we got to have that godlike patience. And I mean, yeah, because it takes a while to get used to. It's very, very different in the entrepreneurial world, just to let you all know. But we stay busy. We work while we wait. That's what we got to do. Be not weary in well-doing. And chosen ones don't play favorites when it comes to people. We never have. Because I know I was asking God about that. I was like, okay, my entire life, I was like, okay, so we've had those that we like and dislike. And so we're like, okay, but we never played favorites with people. It's just, no, it never crossed, I know it never crossed my mind to do that. I could see when they were doing it with a sibling, of course. And then it was revealed to me not long ago that, now I know how they view me. That's right. This is why God tells us our enemies are in our own household. Because it was revealed to me that apparently, they believe that I'm a little out there. Okay, that's fine. That's what I'm saying. It's a compliment to be called crazy, y'all. Yeah. Because that just lets us know we're on the right track. We're not supposed to follow the crowd. And that's why they view us that way. It's because we're not following the crowd. We're not conforming to this world. Well, that's because God tells us not to conform to this world, but to be transformed by the renewing of the mind. So we are in obedience to God. But see, they don't even realize that they have conformed to this world. And so remember, when that happened, these toddlers in adult bodies, that's right, the renewing of the mind cannot take place, and the enemy knows that. Excuse me real quick. I'm going to wet the whistle. All right, thank you. Okay? But that is why the enemy needs to trick as many as he possibly can into conforming to this world. And that playing favorite contributes to conforming to this world. Think about that. Because it's like everywhere we go, right, we start to see the patterns. It's all about patterns, y'all. Patterns tell a story. So, yes, and that same concept applies in our forensic analysis. Okay, patterns tell a story. Just like bruise patterns, abrasion patterns, it tells a story. And same thing with the game of narcissism on the world stage and the abuse associated with it. Patterns. We start to notice patterns. And so a lot of entities, right, they mimic certain techniques. How many reward cards do we have in our wallets? I know. Yeah. That's a little subtle way of them playing favorites. And also by duping us into thinking we're actually saving anything. We're not. We're not. Those of us who have an admin on a website and we sell products, we know what's up. The gig is up. Okay? Yeah, and then those of you, you know what I'm talking about on how they operate. But that's just one of the many ways, you know. And then think of all the emails we get. with the narcissism side of marketing, all the emails we get telling us that, oh, right, spend X amount in order to get X amount off. Okay, but I don't need it, whatever. And then just think about how favoritism is being played out on the world stage. You'll start to notice it. Now that I've mentioned it, brought it to your attention, if you haven't been noticing it yet, you will now. Because it can't hide in plain sight forever how they're doing it. And it helps us to better understand that these narcissists out here, toddlers in adult body, where they're getting it from. And they think it's normal because they see a lot of other people doing it. That's following the crowd, conforming to this world. And so we, spiritual warriors for Christ, the chosen one, pick up our cross and follow Jesus. That's that narrow path. Remember, your purpose, what God called you to do, is the narrow path. We got to stay on it. Oh, we come to love staying on that sucker too. I'm telling you. Because each time we have to go out into the fallen Babylonian matrix and get stuff, we're like, yo, man, really? That's just crazy. Oh, yeah, God reveals it more and more. And we're like, okay then. And we understand now where it's coming from. The spiritual battle for the mind. But here's the thing, chosen ones don't let things like that go to their head. We just don't. It's like, oh, okay, we have a reward card. Okay. And so, okay. It doesn't go to our head. But that's what the enemy would like for it to, though. You see? Anything that contributes to playing favorites, yeah, the enemy wants that to go to people's heads. And for the narcissist, it does. It makes them feel bigger than they really are. It helps to instill that high pride that they have about whatever. And they also have that high pride over whatever their position, status, or title is. That's when the Jezzy gets them, y'all. The Jezebel, that's when it gets them. And then they too, when they have children, let's say, yeah, they will play favorite. And then if there's two, well, one is going to be the scapegoat. Okay? And it's always us, scapegoats, that start to see through the lies and the deceit and all. It always is. Because we're chosen spiritual warriors for Christ. And so we choose to grow, mature, and evolve as we are supposed to be doing in God's reality and going forward. All right, everybody. So yes, I am checking the chat. Let's just chat. Feel free to share some insight. If you can think of anything I have not mentioned that contributes to playing favorites. Yeah, let's drop that in the comments below. Remember, we are a growing community. Iron sharpening iron. Helping one another. That heightened awareness. Because y'all might have noticed something contributing to it that I haven't yet. So this is how we help each other. Raise that awareness. Get that spiritual awareness. Never forget, heightened awareness is spiritual awareness. You know, awareness about ourselves, awareness about what's going on out there, and then also awareness about what's going on in the spiritual. All the way around. So the more heightened awareness we get, the more we notice. And I want to remind whoever needs this that a lot of the stuff we start to notice, we come to realize later on, it's always been there. It just can't hide in plain sight anymore. And so we know that there are many ways that the evildoers like to play favorites. And you can tell easily what it is. Who is it that they're putting up on a pedestal? There you go. Yep, whoever it is that they're putting up on a pedestal is who they're playing favorites over. And never forget that society is always going to cater to the toddler mindset. It's an unfortunate fact, but that is deliberate and part of the game of narcissism, because the enemy needs to keep them stunted emotionally. He needs to keep them sleeping. He needs to keep them spiritually dead so that he can continue to, that's right, play the puppeteer. After all, without these toddlers in his adult body, yeah, he doesn't have any puppets. And so, without a human host, he doesn't exist. And neither do his demon spirits. Let that sink in. And we come to realize that, again, whoever needs it, we don't confront them. We don't tell them we know what they are. We do not tell them that they are demonically possessed, because they will turn around and do what? Exactly. Blame shift, point the finger back at us, falsely accuse us of being what? That's why we learned to just move in silence. We can see it, and that, you know what? It is what it is. They don't know that they've been demonically possessed. And that is the trick of the enemy. Because he's using cognitive dissonance against humanity every single day. Like I shared earlier, I don't know why YouTube recommends my own videos to me. I get the notification, I'm going, what are you trying to do? Why? Anywho, so we don't let it waste our mind space when we see stuff like that either. All right, everybody. Hello, fellow warrior. There you are. Hi, Chris. All right, we're going to share this. Absolutely. It says that favoritism in family can be particularly cruel. Yes. Narcs. Yep. Parent playing siblings off against each other. Absolutely. Absolutely. A non-narc child being raised by narc parent can cause permanent developmental harm. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. Yeah, it could. Okay, it could. Those of us who are chosen ones and we did not turn into narcs, okay, yeah, it could potentially cause permanent harm. Absolutely. You're correct about that. It could. But when God awakens us, glory be to God, God awakens us to and from all of that. And so we're able to become more aware. And we do continue to develop because of the power of God. And we do mature and grow as we're supposed to. That's a big reason why we're able to see this more and more now. Okay, it's getting clearer to us how the system of narcissism on the world stage operates. And now we see that, okay, because what goes on out there between all these different businesses and entities, right? They're all competing with each other, right? Okay. So that's another reason why these narcissists out here have this, everything is a competition when it's not. Competition is an illusion. Because the reality is, we are all going, because we're human still, that we're going to have our likes and dislikes. So in other words, if we are going to go to a particular restaurant and we have a particular dish that we prefer over another one, that's not playing favorite. It's just that we know what we like and what we don't like. Total different. we're going to go there and we're going to get that dish. We don't need to be, we don't have to, because we already know that we like that dish at that restaurant. That restaurant doesn't need to keep shoving it in our face, right? Whereas the toddler and adult body, because they have short-term memory loss, which is what the enemy relies on. So that narcissism side of marketing works on them. Doesn't work on chosen one. Not anymore. I will tell you, once we learn of a deception, we're not going to fall for it again. That's called repentance as well. There's a lot that goes into repenting, you all. Not making the same mistake twice, not allowing ourselves to be duped again by the same things over and over again. Yeah, that's up to us. And that reminds me that I wrote something down. I'm going to share with you all right here because we're going to elaborate on this. Yeah, we're going to elaborate on this later on. I take notes. Whenever God puts something on me, I was like, oh, that's good. We're gonna elaborate on this one here because when God makes us aware of our inner peace, that's right. It is up to us now to take care of it. In other words, we find ways to protect our peace. And one of the main ways is that we stay away from chaos and drama, right? To protect our peace. We don't allow ourselves to get sucked into the game of narcissism like that. Because it doesn't, we know that wherever there's chaos and drama, that there is narcissistic abuse being dished out, right? Because if there wasn't, there wouldn't be any chaos and drama. Because in the game of narcissism, that's what it's all about. Chaos and drama. That's right. Being overly dramatic. There you go. In the game of narcissism, it's oh gosh, wow. Yeah. Theatrics and being dramatic. Yep. And because we now know that, once we learn that there's a lot of illusions out here, well, okay, it takes a while to wrap our heads around. Yes, you all, I know. But eventually we get there. Because we have to. And then we start unlearning a lot of the worldly garbage as we continue to observe how they play favorites out there. That's right. Oh, you just, there you go, Chris. That's right. Yep, the YouTube algorithm, can be a bit of a catch-22. Bingo. Yep. Right, you need YouTube to promote your channel and to grow, but the YouTube algorithm doesn't pick up and promote the channel. The channel is not going to be... I got you. I know exactly what you're saying. This is why God has us doing a bit of additional promoting. This is why I want to let everybody know that we're doing a cleanup and declutter at the same time. We're doing something that we should have been doing the whole time. Okay, so you're going to start seeing pinned comments in our video description. In the videos, you're going to start seeing pinned comments that are promoting, CHA courses, individual sessions, because it goes along with the playlist title. So that listen, the 5 P's, y'all, because I noticed something about our fun fact videos that are public on the YouTube channel. Okay, there's 17 of them. And out of all of those, for those of you who have not caught that playlist, I highly encourage you to do so, because those little fun facts give you more of a glimpse as to the type of material that you will find when you enroll in one of the courses at CHA Academy. And those fun facts give you some additional insight. And so number 18 on up are just in the community now at the Academy. I did to 17 public on YouTube to kind of get y'all introduced to them. That's how God works. We're introducing you all to the new thing that we do every now and again. And yes, I caught that brief interference, but that's what we're doing, is bringing you all, introducing you to the new thing that God has. And so the fun fact video was just a different way of marketing the academy, right? There you go. A peaceful way of marketing. So you all are going to find pinned comment on these videos where we are utilizing the 5th P, promoting. We got to. Because what Chris shared right there with the algorithm being kind of a catch-22. So we've got to put in a little bit of, I would not call it extra work, but a little bit more effort on our part, because of the simple fact that the algorithms are like that. And I also remember learning a while back, for whoever needs this tip, that when you are the boss, almost pretty much, of telling YouTube what videos you want it to be recommending, right? And I learned it from another YouTuber who basically said that one of the ways you can do it is to let YouTube know which videos you want to promote by putting that video next to, there you go, at the very top of the description next to your channel name. Put that video there, and then also in the pinned comment. And so that's just one of many ways, right, to kind of give it a little push. Right, so those things get into circulation. And so we start thinking more about keywords, like CHA Academy, right? Narcissism and cognitive dissonance, right? YouTube. There you go, keywords. And that's what, even in the videos, as I'm speaking, algorithms are, that's right, at work, picking up on certain keywords. Yep, that's how it works. And so that's the reason why we had to learn how to go, I am Michelle Dickey. Okay, and let y'all know who I am, but also to let the algorithms know. It's just one of those things that we learn going forward as we continue to learn new things. That's right. Okay. I understand why you feel that way about the algorithm just being stupid. Yeah. If you can use the popular title themes, you pick up more views. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. And we're not about popularity. God's not about popularity. Only the enemy is, right? But God did have me switch some things up because he reminded me of something. He reminded me of the search terms that survivors use the most when they are, Googling the narcissist behaviors, right? Well, they come across the word narcissist. That's the first thing we all come across. And so God had me changing some things instead of, because at the beginning especially, okay, we did not type in narcissistic abuser, right? There you go. Even though that's what we're referring to when we say, because we know that the actual narcissist, okay, themselves are the demon spirits that attached to the mind of a human host, who then becomes the narcissistic abuser. But until we make it to that separation, when people are searching, they're typing in the word narcissist first. They're not typing out narcissistic abuser. So we are updating some things on this channel for that reason. And again, not for popularity or anything like that, but just because common sense. God reminded me, well, what did you type in when you were searching? We have to think like the consumer as well. Even though we're entrepreneurs, we also have to remember to think like the consumer. So that we remember, okay, and we'll be able to reach a wider audience in doing so. That's for whoever needs it. And we don't play favorite in doing that either. No, But you're right about that, Chris. You are. That we know because certain platforms are playing favorites. And they play favorites, like if a channel gets 100 million views, of course. Because for the toddlers and adult bodies out here, that's what they're after, is what is considered popular. But I want to tell y'all something. Even the P Matrix thinks that it's popular, but it's not. There's a lot of us who walked away from that. A lot of us who do not partake in any of that dog and pony show on the world stage. And oh, by the way, real quick, every now and again, yes, you might hear, at first I thought, I am close to an airport, yes. And I thought that when I would hear that was an airplane taking off or landing, we got helicopter tours where I'm located at. Yeah, so that's because it's too close. You know what I'm saying? And so I realized that when I was doing my pool therapy not long ago, and I've been meaning to get up here and let y'all know I stand corrected. It's not the airplane, it's the helicopters. Whenever they're giving a tour. Okay? Yes, for those who don't know, I'm right outside of Orlando. Okay, so helicopter tours going on. All right, I know, y'all. That's the irony, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. The irony. Oh yeah, because I see signs all over the place that life can really be a fantasy. I'm going, oh boy. There we go. But God told me why he landed us where he landed us, outside of that big city, because it's a tourist hub. Chosen one come through all the time. That's why we feel the cosmic balance. Yeah, that was one of the first things when I'm in the city. That's the first thing I noticed was a cosmic balance in the spiritual. And it took a little while for me to learn why. Like I knew it existed, but God wanted to show it to me. And then he revealed it to me. He said, well, what are you next to? Right? One of the largest tourist parks in this country, or in the world, maybe, I don't know, but it's one of the largest, right? It's the other half of Hollyweird. Okay. All right, it's the other half of that. And so he let me know that because of that, there are chosen ones traveling through often. And also, he introduced me to a couple of other chosen ones who came here in this city also. Yep, they are starting over again from a narcissistic abuser. So there's several things going on there. Okay? We always have to remember that. And so God guides our steps. He replants us where he replants us for a time or so. And that's the way it goes. But we as chosen ones do not play favorite. Never have. And when it comes to people or things, really. Of course, like I said, we're going to have our likes and our dislikes. That's normal. And so, oh, thank you, fellow warrior. He said, it thinks of me as an expert on the level of a Dr. Michelle. If you do have, I am currently in the proposal stage of my dissertation, yes. It's just taking me a little while to get some other things hammered out, if you will. But yes, I am. For those of you who did not know that, I am finishing up another revision of my proposal for my PhD in forensic psychology at Walden University online. So I'm still in that program, yes. It's just that the last couple of terms, I had a lot of stuff going on that you learn about on the Patreon channel. And then, of course, this last case study that occurred. I did not expect to be dragged down a set of carpeted stairs, but God knew and had all of it. Yeah, he had the escape route and everything already planned out. Never forget that. God knew that was going to happen. And he knew I needed to see the snake eyes. That's all. I needed to see those pupils. So, that being said, you all were fine. Okay? Thank you. We are, that was just an unexpected thing. And we trust God 100% for these last 2 terms. Okay? What you'll learn about, a lot has gone down in the last 7 to 8 months. And God revealing tons of stuff. All the meanwhile, continuing to work and get this content out here to you all. Because what was going on was the demise of a family member going down here really fast, and then watching, like you'll learn about on the Patreon channel, also as watching the fellow narcs come in like vultures and suck the very last. I mean, I'm telling you, that image of vultures circulating around roadkill. That's what I saw. I was like, whoa, okay, Heavenly Father, I don't ever want to see that again. I won't have to. Because that is the ultimate thing why God tells us from such turn away. Because they're going to take each other out. And we let them. Matthew 8:22, let the dead bury their dead. That's exactly what Jesus is talking about right there. And never forget, again, the importance of Matthew 10:37, y'all. Because we prefer to be worthy of Jesus. Leave them where they're at. Stay on that narrow path. Jesus is our Savior. Oh, yes, y'all, I got accused. Okay? Yes, I did. Falsely accused by one of them. One asking me if Jesus was my Savior. And I'm like, you have no idea. Oh, of course he is. He's our one and only Savior. He's the only one that can save us. No man, no woman out there can come save us. No, only Jesus. And true blue, chosen one, we know that. Because we understand 2 Corinthians 13:5 quite well. And we know what the second resurrection is. Right? And so does the enemy. So never forget that. This is why, chosen ones, we find ourselves physically alone a lot more often. And we come to like it. You're going to. So for whoever needs that tip, keep working on that. Keep practicing, because you're going to, God needs to see that you are okay being physically alone more often. Yeah. I already have a plan, fellow warrior. I have a plan for when that piece of paper is in my hand. Just hang tight. I'm not going to reveal it beforehand, though. Y'all are going to get a kick out of it. You are going to love it. Absolutely. Because it's us having a fun play with cognitive dissonance. You know how the enemy uses that cognitive dissonance against humanity, right? As a weapon. Well, we learn, just like God takes what the enemy dishes out and flips it for his glory. Well, we learn how to do the same thing, but not for deceitful purposes, but because it's funny, but for ironic. Because the thing is, that is how God will hide us in plain sight. See, the way we do things, like how we are going to do that, it's going to go over the heads of the spiritually dead. They won't get it because they're asleep. I don't know if I would do that. I don't know if I'll frame it and put it on the wall. I'm not sure yet. Because I do, I don't have any pictures of anybody, not even myself. I mean, in the physical. So I don't know. Because my master's degree is still in the tube. Yeah, it's right in there in one of the drawers over here. It's still in the tube. I don't know. I have to ask God if that's okay or not. I mean, because I don't, because we're not supposed to boast and brag, and I know that I would do that. I just don't know if that would give off. I don't know if that would play a role, because we do know that a narc will do that, right? A narc will do that to brag and boast, right? But whereas we do it, I guess maybe it's just a show of, hey, we know what we're talking about. Duh, you know what I'm saying? So I have to think about that. I have to think about that as to whether I will put those on the wall. Because I know a long time ago I was, yeah, sure. But now, where I'm at in spiritual awakening and God's reality, I'm like, I have to rethink that. Based on our teachings and things like that. Because the one thing that I know the enemy loves to do, also, you all, aside from playing favoritism, is he likes to try and paint chosen one, try to make us hypocrite. So we have to be very mindful of that as well. Yes, the last case study tried to do that, was trying to get me to be hypocritical by combining work and personal. It didn't work, as you can see, because I caught on to it. Yep, because they told me when I shared the course, how to deal with toxic coworkers, and the very first step is to separate work and personal life. And that's also a how to de-stress from a toxic workplace. So for those who are unaware of this, we just finished our second masterclass at CHA Academy. And that's what it's about. I give you several tips on how to de-stress from a toxic work environment. It's now available on the replay inside the community forum. So if you become a member or enroll in one of the courses, you'll have access to the master classes come with, y'all. That's another added perk. There's no separate charge or anything else for the master classes. The master classes are various how-tos. That's right. For dealing with everyday life, learning how to relive life in God's reality, and then also dealing with toxic narcissism, and then also for additional trauma healing things. So at CHA Academy, we're not just offering you courses and membership. We're active. In fact, I've got 2 more pieces of content to get up there in the next couple of days. Fun fact video and a short Bible study every week. Yeah, because we are iron sharpening. We're a growing community where iron sharpens iron. And so the first masterclass you can get on the replay is how to break that dependency on external validation. Okay, and then the second one we just finished up is how to de-stress from a toxic work environment. And I highly encourage y'all, seriously, don't forget your notepad and pen, or however it is you take notes, because you'll want to do that. And then, once you are there, and you can watch them as often as you need to. They're there to help you learn how to deal, because we have to learn how to deal with them. Let's face it, you all. Okay? Even though God tells us from such turn away, and we do, but he also tells us, be not deceived. God is not mocked. And so, yes, there's a few that I've noticed. Yes, okay, a few evildoers that are cashiers at one of the local places. Because the fakery of their personality is just so on display. It's not even funny. Oh, yeah. I was like, wow. That overly, you know what I'm saying? Being overly nice. Got a little bit of that saccharine sweet to it. Right. So we pick up on that stuff a lot quicker. However, what do? What God tells us to do. We overcome evil with good. Okay, we overcome evil with good. So we still be polite and kind, because they are, after all, ringing up our groceries. So we exchange the normal pleasantry, being kind, no matter what. And then we leave. From such we turn away. Okay, there you go. Okay, Chris, yeah, that makes sense. Actually, it really does. Okay, so people can see a professional and expert on the subject. Yeah, yeah. I'll thank you. That gives me something to ponder. So then it's more or less going to be in how I present it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I get it now. It's going to be in how I present it, how I wear that hat. And so I did want to just let everybody know that I appreciate your patience. And my goal was to already have that done by the end of last year, but that is when the end of last year was when stuff started just spiraling downhill with the death in the family, and then some other things, and then of course that's about the same time that the Jezebel was sent across my path. And I learned something, y'all. Here's how they operate. The enemy does this, okay? Stay with me. What the enemy does, okay, is he will send one of the Jezebel's flying monkeys across our path first. Okay? And that's exactly what he did. He sent one of the Jezebel flying monkeys. They only live about a half hour from each other. Okay? And so what he did is sent that across my path. They booked a few sessions trying to kind of gauge where I was at. But I will tell you, I started picking up on that one. Because after a whole year, I still was sensing fear through the email. And I went, that's one of the first things that we overcome. Yeah, once God gets us in the spiritual awakening and we realize that perfect love casteth out all fear. And so we realize that's one of the first things that we overcome in the trauma healing. Absolutely, because we learn to embrace the unknown because it's beautiful. Like, we don't know what God's got next. We just know that whatever it is, it's going to be good. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be righteous. So we know this. So there's no reason for us to be living in fear. Absolutely not. Because we also know that fear is the foundation for the abuse. And so after a year, and I was still sensing the spirit of fear, I was like, okay, something, that's not right. And then right after I closed the case study, they did a love bomb email, and then they got out of Dodge because you got to heed the disclaimer that at some point, once I start to catch on, they're going to get turned into a case study. So I've said it before, that if one of these evildoers does not want to get analyzed or turned into a case study, it's best to stay away from this ministry. Because that's what we're going to do. That's right. And they're going to get exposed. Absolutely. Their behaviors are going to get exposed. And so that's what I said on that one. Okay. All right. Thank you again, Chris. Not right. We don't. Okay. There you go. That's right. All right, fellow warriors. Okay. We don't make a big deal out of having the degree, but just so people can see their certificate. Okay. Because we know how the world operates. Right. I gotcha. Right. Not that I don't have that already. Well, thank you. I would hope so. But I do see I see what you mean. I see what you mean. So that's something for me to ponder. And I appreciate y'all helping. Let's just chat, wherever it goes. I deliver the message. And then we start chatting and it goes wherever it goes. That's the whole point. For us to, that's right, interact with one another. Because let's face it, we're not going to interact with the narcs, right? But we're naturally going to gravitate towards the like-minded And I just saw the clock. Wow. That's the other thing with this. Let's just chat. If we are interacting with one another and y'all are enjoying the combo and the information and the transparency and things like that, then we're going to go as long as y'all would like to. And because if you've got questions, I want to be able to get to those as well. And then if you catch it on the replay, I will get to them. It's been an hour right now. I just saw that. Yeah, I know. So I do appreciate all y'all for those of you who came in and you are staying with us, interacting and sharing some ideas. That's awesome. See, this is what I'm saying, y'all. This is how spiritual warriors for Christ, this is how iron sharpens iron. That's what y'all just got to see. It's how our fellow warrior is helping us work out a little bit of that salvation as to how we're going to, because I have 2 degrees already in my possession. So do I want to, you know what I'm saying? So it's helping us, figure out the how and if and why not, right? But again, that, like he said, we don't have to be, we don't have to constantly be vocal about it. No, because eventually when you see DR in front of the name, that's pretty much going to take care of the rest, right? There you go. But again, like I said, we got a fun with that coming. And y'all, I'm telling you, I'm not future faking, but I'm telling you, I can't release it early, okay? I can't, I have to sit on that part. Because our website, CDHRWDRMD.org, that stands for something. And you'll find out what that is later as well. But I have to have that degree in my hand. So I'm looking forward to sharing that fun with you all. Seriously, I really am. Because when God gave it to me, I was like, oh, that is too funny. I was like, really? And only fellow chosen ones are going to get it. Yeah, only fellow chosen ones are going to get it. And that's the beauty of this community growing together. Because let's face it, after all of that abuse, after everything that we have gone through our entire lives, and then we realize we've been lied to about so many things, and we're like, okay, and we are naturally social creatures. Chosen ones are. We are naturally social. We had to learn how to be more reserved, though. Until, right? Yeah, we have to learn to be a little bit more reserved until we can tell who is who. And so when we came on and decided to create a community, and we started with Spiritual Warriors for Christ, and I remember sharing that with another fellow warrior, and he was like, awesome. He said, I love that. I was like, me too. I didn't know that there were some other groups that also called themselves that. That's okay. This is Spiritual Warriors for Christ at Consulting for Heightened Awareness. So there's your difference. For this ministry. And so we're calling all y'all that want to join us on this journey as we continue to learn, grow, evolve, mature from each other, from one another, and continue to recognize patterns out here when we're dealing with narcissism and the abuse associated with it, and all of that. And we learn why it's so important to have that armor of God on and keep it on, as we are divinely protected by God. All right, everybody. And so let's go ahead and wrap this one up. We've gotten everything that we needed to get done so far, unless anybody's got any other quick question. I'll give it just another minute or so and go ahead and give you some quick reminders. All right. While you go ahead and put your final thought in the chat, the comment. And so CHA Academy, btvw.com, where you'll find those master classes once you enroll in a course. or become a member. Then we also have the Patreon membership channel. They got different content similar to what you get over here, but we make more real world connection to the spiritual realm. In other words, I'll bring things from the rabbit hole and connect dots. I talk about stuff like radio frequency and its manipulation, the weather manipulation, other things from the rabbit hole, and I connect it to the spiritual realm. And then I also share a case study result. I share personal testimonies. Like I said, over the last 2 terms with school, that they know about it. I stay in contact with them, of course. But a lot of things went down. And so I guess you could say I'm a bit more transparent on the Patreon channel. Y'all get more of a glimpse into my world, if you will. Because it's real world connections to the spiritual realm. And so I share with you all a bit more. But I also have sermons over there too. Just like I have the little short Bible study videos that go up into the academy. And then we have our, don't forget about Saturdays on this YouTube channel and at Facebook. You know, God told me to keep the Bible study on both of the platforms. But yeah, around 4:30 p.m. Eastern time after our drive-by with Michelle from 3 to 4 at 4:30 around that time, we now have the CHA Saturday Bible study where we dive into specific scripture. I mean, we pretty much do Bible study every day, but I had a request from several of y'all to actually host a live Bible study for just Bible study. And so that's what we come up with. And so it's on, YouTube channel, and then the Facebook business page at Consulting for Heightened Awareness. We'll stream that. And then the Motivational Monday. All right, yes, we have branched out, for those who did not know that. Okay? God had us branching out. Because I did not used to go live on Mondays. Okay? I did not used to. But God said, do it. But we need a theme. And so I said, okay, that would be where a lot of the coaching part of me comes out. Motivational Monday. Okay, the radio frequency stuff and how that works. Okay. I mean, I do dive into it quite a bit over on the other channel. So I'll go ahead and, if I can't give you some highlights, but it's not a secret. It's out there. I did the research. I share 1, 2, 3 parts to an article that I came across quite some time ago about radio frequency sickness. Because I found that when I had the case study with the ex-psycho roommate. Okay, because that's what he was doing. He was rigging up EMF pollution inside that house. My hearing aid started picking it up. So I knew that the frequency was way out of the normal range, or what would be considered a normal range. Because he picked it up. And I was like, what's going on? And so I started taking a crash course in Physics 101. I had to learn about the law of reflection and certain things like that. Because we are exposed to radio frequency regardless, right? Take a microwave, your devices, your cell phone, these lights, right? And any appliance. Okay. And then, I mean, really, all around us. We can't escape it 100%, but we can limit our exposure to it. Absolutely. For example, I know that the television spits out a huge amount of frequency. It sure does. That's why we don't have one. If I want to go and pull up a show to watch, I can watch it on YouTube. I can watch it on Hulu. I can watch it on another app. Just so you know. So there you go. So we just learn how to limit ourselves to it, because radio frequency sickness mimics a lot of things that don't exist, because Jesus cleans everything. So radio frequency is being used on the world stage for mind control. This is why we have toddlers in adult bodies out here who are demonically possessed, Jeff, but they don't realize that they're being controlled by that radio frequency. Perfectly programmed. Now you'll make the connection, right? Okay. Perfectly programmed. They're being brainwashed. That's right. Yes, fellow warrior. I figured that out a long time ago. And how I came upon that, I'll share it with you all, this brief story. How I stumbled upon that about the television or the television is that when I was in undergrad and that ex-psycho, before I knew that he was a narc psycho, before I knew that, I was in a one bedroom, right? We were just like part-time roommates at that time. He had moved to the house, his family member's vacation home, okay? And I stayed because I was on campus and online. I was a hybrid student. But I was also a work-study worker on campus, okay? So I stayed there, get through undergrad, and during that season, I ended up having to have an ulcer cauterized. And now I know what the cause of that was. It wasn't no pills or anything like that. It was the radio frequency poison coming out of that television, because I had noticed, because I was sitting relatively close, not too close, but I sat in that chair doing my homework a lot. And the TV was right there. And I started noticing some leakage, some sort of like liquidy leakage coming out of the back several times. And it had an unusual odor, but at the time, I didn't know what it was. And I just went and got a towel and I wiped it up and threw it out. Now I know what that was. It was because he had tampered with that device to increase the amount of frequency that was coming out. And so he started poisoning me long before I caught on to it. But I now know. Because the article told me that kind of sickness can show up roughly around 3 after being exposed to a large amount for a period of time. And now I know why he moved, right? Because we had a 2-bedroom apartment where we were and roommating. But I entered undergrad and I started to notice some other things. Because I remember asking in undergrad, if people are dying the way that everybody keeps telling us they are, why does the U.S. population hardly ever change? I got met with blank stares. Nobody can answer that one. Well, now we can. Because we know that numbers are manipulated. Right? That's right. Because we know that the enemy cannot control population. That's totally out of his control. Because God is in control of that. There you go. So anyhow, that's what was happening. And he started exposing me to the radio frequency in that 1-bedroom apartment. So I ended up getting that cauterized. And I still didn't know yet. I'm still being exposed to it. But I will share with you all, I now know, because I had to go 6 months later for a follow-up, right? Make sure everything was healing. Well, I remember when I came to from being scanned, if you will, that the 2 professionals standing there, they were dumbfounded. They just looked at me and were like, it's completely healed. They didn't know what in the world that was. Well, we know what that was now, don't we? His name is Jesus. So, you see, that's valuable on the inside of Chosen One. Absolutely. And because we never developed a dependency on that matrix like that, these evildoers are sent across our path to try and see if they can get us dependent on that matrix. I'm not saying don't go for regular discernment, y'all. Discernment. In other words, chosen one, because we trust God, we don't go running to that matrix for every little thing like a toddler in an adult body does. That's what I'm talking about. We go for regular maintenance, things like that, sure. Because if we have hearing aids or we wear dentures or what have you, we're going to have to go for periodic checkups here and there. Not all the time, but just every once in a while. And for other things, we don't go running to it for every little thing. Like we feel a little bit of a discomfort in this spot. Oh, well, shake it off. Say a prayer. Rebuke it in the name of Jesus. And it's gone. It works. Because remember, what a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And the enemy knows this. So the enemy wants to try and trick us into thinking things are wrong with us that are not. And that's one of the ways he does it, is using radio frequency. It's all about that. Remember, we are in a spiritual battle for the mind. So the enemy's using that frequency, that's right, to try and trick us into thinking that we got stuff going on that it's not going on. Because remember, the enemy is all about appearances. Takes a while for that to sink in. So I will share with you all some dots from the last case study. That case study knew, her demon spirit knew that I knew all about this radio frequency. But because of the demon of assumption, they assume that I'm afraid of it. No, because once we become aware of it, it cannot have the intended negative effect on chosen one. Because we are aware. You see, another reason why the enemy does not want people to have heightened awareness, because he knows this. That once we are aware of what's going on, that any of the negative intended effects, it's not going to work on chosen one. So the enemy knows that. But here's what that whole thing that went down with that last case study, how they knew what areas of the body to target that would mimic, there you go, that would mimic things that don't exist. Whereas the old me would have been tricked into going and getting that medicine. I'm like, because I am healthy. That's right. I know my body. I know me. I know who I am in Christ. And I know that stuff, because radio frequency sickness mimics those things. And so what the enemy was trying to do with that Jezebel was a trickle-down effect. The Jezebel was hoping that when I would, going through the recovery, going through this recovery each day, making note of the progress, that's right, and so each day, as I am getting to know myself on that biological, intimate level, it's really cool, too. I have to tell you, it really is. It's actually fun because I'm learning more about myself at that level. And so what they were hoping is that I would revert to the old ways of thinking, what the old me would have done. But I'm aware. And God kept the subconscious aware of the entire time that was going down. Another reason why I was able to connect these dots is that they were hoping that I would think some of those symptoms during the healing process that just basically resemble those of you who are avid exercisers. There you go, workouters. Well, I fit. But those of you who are avid exercisers will know what I'm talking about. But that's what it's like. Because I still work out. And so I'm working those muscles. So of course I'm going to experience a little of that or a little of that. But we stretch it out. Okay? We stretch it out and we let God do what God's got to do. With the radio frequency on the cell phone, okay. Don't trust it. Well, then you're good to go, because that would have a higher level of frequency that would come out of it. Remember, the higher the volume, the higher the frequency. And that's what the ex-psycho tampered with, by the way, was made it to where I had to turn it up in order to hear it. Well, I have a video on our Patreon channel. We don't need to be afraid of the 5G. We're aware of it. That's what I'm saying. We're aware of it. So we have no reason to be afraid of it. It's not going to have the negative intended effect. But see, the enemy was trying to trick me into thinking like the old way because of a certain symptom during the healing process. But the Jezebel was hoping that I would blame radio frequency for it. No, because they all give off the appearance of. Remember, the enemy is all about intimidating and imitating, mimicking. All right, everybody? So we went a bit longer on that because, like I said, if you have questions, I will do the best I can to elaborate for you. And I highly encourage y'all, you can do your research all about that. But keep in mind, as you do your research on that radio frequency and the sickness, it is a real thing. Keep in mind that a lot of those articles are going to have a lot of worldview labels. Because see, once we're in the spiritual awakening, and we can see in the spiritual, we know that a lot of those labels and other things don't exist because of the demonic possession that is out here. So we go through those seasons, though, okay, where those terms are going to resonate until we get farther up on the spiritual ladder. And we understand that the world, the fallen Babylonian matrix, slapped labels on the demonic behaviors and an attempt to try and masquerade the demonic possession. That's what's going on. And so once we understand that the reason there's a bunch of toddlers in adult bodies out here dishing out that abuse is because, well, in the physical, it's learned behavior, but in the spiritual, it's demonic possession. All right? So you have both. All right, everybody? So just know that. And that the enemy loves to use that radio frequency to give off the appearance of things that don't exist. Illusion. Because when Jesus died on that cross, he cleaned everything. But the enemy got to keep everything dirty while giving off the appearance of keeping things clean. Because chosen one, we are naturally not sloppy, dirty people. That's something else I've learned about just myself being here. That I'm like, okay. Whereas in other environments, it seemed like there was always stuff to have to clean up. My goodness. It took almost 2 months before I even had to dust. Okay, that's cool. So there you go. I know there's a lot of factors involved there, but I just want to share that with y'all, okay? Give y'all some more insight and let you know that you can research that. Absolutely. You can. It's out there. It's not a secret. It's just you don't hear many people talk about it because the sleepers will never understand. They don't know. And there's a lot of people who know about the manipulation that takes place, with that radio frequency, because that is what they're using to manipulate the weather. All right, so there you go. And if you've got anything else, Don't hesitate to reach out, y'all. Seriously. That's right. That's what we're here for. We don't want to leave y'all in the dark. But now we're coming up on an hour and a half. Hey! Oh, that's awesome. But y'all just helped me learn something else. That I can stand up here and talk for an hour and a half. Glory be to God. So that's beautiful. So I want to say thank you for that. All right, everybody? As always, again, don't hesitate to reach out with any other questions that you might have. If you put them on the comments in the replay, I will get to those as soon as possible. Okay, everybody, I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA's Let's Just Chat show, streaming on the YouTube channel, Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance. That's right. And it is where trauma healing and spiritual growth with God's wisdom and more are front and center. Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your support. Till next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father, and you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.